This week on Let's Talk Schools, who doesn't love awards? We'll tell you all about our award-winning visual and performing arts programs. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Let's Talk Schools. I'm Mike Looney, the host of the show, and have the pleasure of being the superintendent of schools here in Fulton County. Today, we're going to be talking about the arts, and we have two very, very special guests, and the arts are very important in their lives. So I'm going to let the two of you introduce yourselves, and then we're going to kind of dig in and see where we go.
Thank you, Dr. Looney. I'm Betsy Epps. I'm the Visual Art, Dance, and Theater Coordinator here in Fulton County Schools.
Hi, I'm Vivian Joe. I'm a senior at Chattahoochee High School.
Awesome. And not only are you the coordinator, you're also the State of Georgia's Arts Educator of the Year.
That's right, Dr. Looney. I'll get a little. Yes, I was named by the Georgia Art Education Association the Georgia Art Educator of the Year, and it's really humbling to have that recognition. I've been doing this work a long time, and I couldn't do it without all my other colleagues, all in Fulton County especially, and across the state.
Well, thank you for your service, and thank you for representing Fulton County Schools so well as the State of Georgia's Arts Educator of the Year. That's phenomenal. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you, Dr. Looney.
And I know that you're doing a great job representing our school district and the boys and girls that we serve. So, Vivian, we're here to talk about the arts. I'm assuming you have a proclivity towards the arts. You like the arts?
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about what intrigues you about the arts.
So I've been taking art lessons outside of school for almost 11 years now. So it's something that I kind of came into liking. And I really hope to study it in college as well. So arts and design in college as well.
So art is a pretty broad category, right?
Yes.
So do you have a specific type of art that really you're attracted to and that you're trying to specialize in?
Yes, so I do mainly traditional arts, which is like your painting, drawing. So I would like to study painting along with some other digital medias in college, so yeah.
And is there a favorite type of medium that you work with when you're painting?
I like acrylic the best.
Acrylic?
Yeah.
And do you focus on like modern art or like realistic art? Do you focus on people or objects?
I'd say I do mostly portraits. So I love doing portraits of my family, friends, myself. So yeah.
Seems to me like portraits are one of the more difficult, most challenging types of painting to do because it's so precise.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm more of an abstract artist. I just throw it up there. And just, it's modern art. It's abstract. So.
No, actually, I've found that abstract art is actually one of the harder art types that I've learned. So yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess if you don't know what you're doing, you like abstract art. And if you're a perfectionist, then you probably are critical of abstract art. So talk to us about the art programs that we have in Fulton County. What is the availability? What are options for students across all of our schools?
Thank you, Dr. Looney. So in all of Fulton County schools, we have visual art and music. In every elementary school, students get art once a week and music once a week. And that's really an amazing foundation. And we're really the only district that I know of in the state that the board has committed to those allocations to ensure that all students start out with that great foundation. And then as we go through middle school, there's art and music options for band, orchestra, and visual art as well. And then high school, there's just the floodgates start to open up even more. So at Chattahoochee, for instance, students can take photography, they can go a 2D and design route, or they can go a 3D route where they're doing sculpture and ceramics as well, and things including metal crafts. And a lot of the arts skills that students are learning really will speak to things that they will do for the rest of their lives and skill sets that people in the creative industries are looking for. And so we've got those pathways in visual art. We have a 2D pathway, design pathway, and 3D pathway that students can access.
Right. You know, when people start talking about budgets, and we're in the budget season, and you know, you're always wrangling your hands. You know, how are we going to get through the budget? You know, how can we meet the needs of everybody? Where do we make the cuts in order to balance the budget? But our school board has been just phenomenal and drawn a hard line in the sand and said, we believe in the arts. And so I'm grateful. I know you're grateful as well. But it's kind of purposeful too. It's not accidental. There's a link between arts education and student outcomes, academic outcomes of all things.
Absolutely. And the more of the data that is culled out of research that's really not expecting those academic outcomes, we keep finding those academic outcomes in a positive, that are in addition to what we are trying to tease out, such as decrease in discipline infractions, and increase in attendance, decrease in absenteeism. But with studies we've done with some of our partners here in the metro area, we're finding that students that have access to the arts and to cultural experiences, like what we do with our Kaleidoscope through the Teaching Museum, the impact is pretty phenomenal. And then there are opportunities like Vivian, I just want to brag a little bit. She was named Best of Show, her artwork received Best of Show at the Atlanta High School art exhibition at the Dogwood Festival, and it's really hundreds of student works from across the state, not just Metro Atlanta. And Vivian's artwork received Best of Show, and it's the second time a student from Fulton in 2 consecutive years has had work that received that accommodation. So
that's incredible.
That accommodation.
Yeah, so that's incredible. Tell us about your piece that you had on display.
So it was a self-portrait that I did in chalk pastel. And it was actually pretty big. I'd say somewhere around this, so pretty large scale piece. And I did it at the end of my junior year, I believe. And it was just like a self-reflection type piece to round off the year. So, yeah.
So talk to me about you doing the actual work. I know that you're learning skills in your classes, you know, how to use pastels effectively, how to use acrylic, but how much of your coursework allows you the opportunity for self-expression in creating your own art?
Of course. So I mentioned earlier that I've been taking art lessons outside of school for quite some time, but it wasn't until I got to high school and started taking classes at Chattahoochee that I actually got to experiment with my own creativity. So in my outside of school art lessons, it's very, you do this and then this and then this. There's not really much room for creativity. But I really found that taking AP art classes at Chattahoochee is where I found my passion for art and drawing and painting.
That's incredible. So you obviously have classmates that participated in the arts. Is there some sort of common bond that y'all share as it relates to the arts?
Definitely. I feel like even though the arts is pretty expensive at Chattahoochee, we're still a pretty tight-knit community. So you definitely form friendships that last all throughout high school and even outside of high school, hopefully.
So you're a senior this year?
Yes.
And so what are you going to do post-graduation?
Post-graduation, I'm hoping to be able to work at a creative direction firm. So or a product design firm. So I'd like to have a hand in designing things that we use in our everyday lives.
Okay. Are you going to pursue additional education, or are you going straight to the workforce and taking your skills and talents and trying to make money?
I want to go to a traditional four-year college and then hopefully also get my master's.
Okay. And do you think that your experience at Chattahoochee High School has prepared you for success at the university level in the arts?
Definitely, especially because there's so many resources that my art teacher, Miss Rice, also gives to all her students. I feel that she can help out with anything that I might need in the college application process itself. I'm going through it right now, so I can go to her for recommendation letters and portfolio critiques and that kind of thing. And I feel like it's definitely helps me a lot in the process.
So let me ask you a question. I being self-reflective, I don't think I'm particularly talented artistically. I have other talents, but I don't think being artistic is one of my talents. And I'm assuming that we have students in our district that feel the same way. What do we do to expose students to make them more well-rounded and feel more comfortable and explore, what they might perceive as, that's not my area of strength?
That is a really great question, and it's something that we work on in our communities of practice with all of the arts teachers. We have, the goal is, you think of the Visual Art 1 class, many students, that'll be the last opportunity they have to take an actual studio art class. So the way that we develop and design our instruction, it's for success. And so students that were like, how did I make that? We set up those skills and build those skills and scaffold so they don't even realize they're learning. You're going to be making a coil pot, and it's going to be a vessel, but then you're going to be able to communicate something about your family or your greatest fear. But we set that up for success, and we also work on what we call benchmarks or progress indicators. That it's an internal process where teachers look at bodies of work from a certain course and a certain standard, and we print out stacks of artwork, and we kind of shuffle, this is emerging, this is meeting, and this is exceeding those standards. And we know we want all the students' work to look like work that's in this range. And then teachers develop dialogue around why work may be not meeting the standards yet, and what the student needs to learn to be able to get to that place. Because the goal is for every student to leave every art class, at least what I used to say is at least to have something their parents would be proud to put on the refrigerator or on their table.
Right.
So.
Well, I proudly displayed my dot-to-dot drawings when I was a young lad. Let me ask you this seriously. What is it that we can do with our parents? How can we support our parents to give their children more exposure and readiness in some respects to explore the arts in a more formal setting, public school?
So I think to kind of dispel some of the misconceptions about students being in arts classes versus being in an AP Calculus, both have immense value, but being in an art class doesn't diminish a student's success in other fields. It actually increases their potential for accessibility to more understanding more cultures, accessibility to problem solving, to being able to not be afraid to make a mistake because, okay, well, I made that mistake. Let's just start over or paint over that, and so to really communicate with parents and invite them into our schools, invite them to be chaperones of field trips, invite them to the theater and the dance performances to see what the students are doing, and so that's kind of how because when I was your age, why are you going to major in art? You're never going to make any money. And that was kind of the, what people say, but that's just not true in the 21st century in 2023 and in Georgia with the $37 billion creative industries here. Right. And the jobs that you just don't think about, like, somebody finding artifacts for a movie set, or students who have spent a lot of time in studio art and they write a lot of reflections and they learn how to write descriptions. So writing copy for magazines or for an auction, like there's millions of things. And just inviting the parents in and showing the parents what the students are
celebrating
doing.
their children.
Celebrating their children, yeah.
So two final questions, one for each of you. This first one's a little bit odd. I'm going to ask you, Betsy.
Okay.
Obviously, there's a science to art. There's skill, but then there's also the creative side. Is art really about balancing those two things together, or do we have to lean more heavily on one or the other, or does it matter? Or
so, we all have different brains, and I really don't think there's one side or the other side. I don't like being called just right-brained because scientists are artists and artists are scientists, because it's that creative, or you're questioning, you're asking a question like, how do I express this idea without words, or how do I discover this thing to solve that other problem. Right. So it's not either or, but the thing that's in common is the creativity, the curiosity, not creativity, right. Because scientists and artists are both curious. And if we can keep curiosity ignited, then the science and the art will continue to dovetail.
I love that answer. I love that answer. I'm going to use that answer. That is an amazing answer. Thank you. And so, Vivian, I have a very technical question. You obviously are going to make a lot of money. You're going to be very lucrative and successful in some capacity in the arts. My question to you is it okay for me to still color outside the lines?
Yes, I think so. You could call it abstract art like you said earlier.
Okay. Well, thank you. It's been such an honor to have both of you on the show. Thank you for sharing your time and your talents with us. Thank you so much for what you do and making sure that the arts is alive and well and thriving here in Fulton County Schools. And once again, congratulations on your award. Well deserved. I'm Mike Looney. Thank you for tuning in to another section of Let's Talk Schools. I look forward to seeing you again soon. And now, let's go around the district in 90 seconds. That's it for our show this week. Let's keep the conversation going. We'd love to hear from you on our social media platforms. Join us next time on Let's Talk Schools, and thank you for watching.